Good morning to you, and welcome to another edition of the Art Lewis Show for a Thursday morning. It is the 22nd of May already. Would you believe it? Memorial Day weekend straight ahead. A lot to talk about this morning. After the 10 o'clock news, we're going to learn about the Civil Air Patrol in this region. At 11 o'clock, Hemlock Public Schools will be the subject of focus. But for this hour anyway, there is a sport that has shown its head on the sports horizon, so to speak, and it has taken off. There are national tournaments, there are professional leagues, and there are amateur tournaments, and we're going to talk about that and lots more about pickleball and other sporting things with a couple of guests this morning. First of all, from the Midland Tennis Center, we say good morning to Rich Reckaway. Good morning, Rich. Jeff. Where'd I get Jeff?
Hey, I've been called a lot. I've been called a lot worse, Art. No, it's great to be here with you.
Good morning, Jeff. And I know him. That's what's worse about it. Also with us this morning from Go Great Lakes Bay, the CVB, we say good morning to Tim Shelton. Good morning.
Good morning, Art. Thanks for having us.
All right, so I have to start out. Jeff, you've been around the courts quite a while. Why pickleball? What is there about this sport which injures so many of my friends that's taken off?
It started out with probably the transition from people that weren't able to play tennis anymore because of the...
Here I am.
Yeah, the amount of space you've got to cover on a tennis court, and the pickleball court is almost half the size of a tennis court. So there is that older demographic, the 65 plus, that is playing a lot, and that is the second fastest age group of growing pickleball growth.
Let me guess, the young ones are the
18 to 24 is the fastest, and then the second fastest is the 65. So it's great to see that those two age groups though playing a lot together because it's more about the level.
That 65 plus group. Good friend of mine started playing pickleball 2 days after he started. He broke his hand. Another friend of mine played pickleball 2 days later, broke his ankle. I mean, I'm going, hey, wait a minute, what kind of sport is this?
Yeah.
And the ball is what? It's a plastic, it's like a wiffle ball, or
it's very similar to a wiffle ball. Yes, different but very similar.
And a hard paddle.
Hard paddle. Yes. Yeah.
So the tennis center has had to adapt.
Well, we saw it as an opportunity. Our tennis, fortunately, is growing, so we're still growing with tennis. But pickleball is, in my opinion, and I think it's proven, is not just a fad. So we had the space, we had the ability to embrace pickleball and create a unique opportunity in our region for people to come play indoors on a great surface, and now with the investment of the CVB and the tennis center, we're building 7 dedicated pickleball outdoor courts.
Can you turn a tennis court into a hybrid court so that it works both ways by adding lines on it?
Yes, and that's what we did on 6 of our tennis courts. We've added 12 blended line pickleball courts. When I left the tennis center this morning, we had about 30 people playing. We have early risers. It starts at 6 a.m., and there's about 30 people playing pickleball on our back courts.
So, Tim, I have to ask, because the CVB, its main mission is to put heads in beds. You bring them into the area. Is pickleball going to be an attraction to be able to do that?
100%, and things are changing. We talk about heads in beds still. It's very important, but we really are in the area of economic development in our organization, and our Midland County Convention and Visitors Bureau approved a $600,000 investment into these pickleball courts because we recognize the importance of that and the economic impact that sports tourism brings to our region. And just a wonderful example of how economic development can spur new tourism into our market.
Well, it's also an example of the evolution of a CVB.
Right.
And the reason I say that, I was chair of the Saginaw CVB for 4 years. Our money went 100% to marketing and advertising. We
Yes.
would not contribute to anything else.
Right.
And that's changed now. The CVBs have become players in development, as you say,
Right.
economic development.
Right. It's not just economic development, but the non-economic development benefits of sports tourism.
Yeah, however-
that we work in. So
However, your main mission is still to put heads in beds, because without those heads in beds, you don't have that $600,000.
well, that's correct. That's correct. That's right.
Well, and this whole thing started 2 years ago. Tim and I have gotten to know each other over the years, and where both our careers paths have crossed, and we've collaborated on different things. But he was my first phone call on just an idea, and then he right away brought Annie Rummel, who's I say rock
travel
star.
executive of the state.
Just
I mean, so-
unbelievable, unbelievable,
Yeah.
and this partnership has created a tremendous opportunity for this region. When we talk about the tourism, and then also just a national opportunity to get out and people to see what we have to offer here in the region.
Yeah. And that's the next point then. You build these pickleball courts, and they shall come. Tournaments?
So really exciting. I would have never thought, nor would, in our conversation with CVB, thought that we would have the opportunity to bring an actual national touring event in the first year that we have these courts available. But it's an example of preparation meeting opportunity. We have, again, through Tim's help in the CVB, we had made connections with one of the pro tours, or the organizations is the APP, Association of Pickleball Players, and that is the oldest and first organization for pickleball. And we also have talked to the PPA, but through conversations with the APP, and was in New York at one of their tour events that's going on right now last year, build a relationship with them. Actually consulted them on, as we construct these courts, things that we should think about.
Has it become a money sport for these players? I mean, are there incomes to be made?
Oh yeah, there's actually big money to be made.
I'm actually not surprised. I have to tell you, I'm not surprised that you got one. When you look at this region, and Tim can verify this, but if you say the Great Lakes Bay region, and you say, by the way, we hosted the Memorial Cup, which our local team won the big championship. We have the Great Lake Loons. We have the Dow Championship. We have all these national things.
The Dow
here.
Tennis Classic.
And the Dow Tennis Classic. It's a natural. Why not come here?
Yeah. Well,
Did I do your job for you?
100%. One of those benefits is brand awareness. So the more people that come to town for these tournaments, the more that know about us. Spread the word.
I'm sorry.
No, it just that word of mouth advertising, right?
Yep. All right, we're going to take a break, come back with our guests. We talk more about pickleball and other things happening here on the Art Lewis Show. And I want to talk to you for a moment about McDonald Ford in Freeland, where they anticipated all the uncertainty of tariffs, and in doing so, began stocking their lot with tariff-free vehicles, and have many more en route. Not only are they tariff-free, but right now Ford is offering employee pricing for everyone. You pay the same price as Ford employees. And Ford has also announced that it's extending that pricing policy through July 6th. So, let's say you're a Chrysler import buyer, but you'd like to consider a Ford. Well, you're going to receive the lowest prices offered. Chevy truck buyers can now get into the Ford F-150, America's best-selling pickup, also at employee pricing. Now is the right time to visit McDonald Ford M47 in Freeland for the best selection and the lowest possible price. Don't let tariffs prevent you from getting the vehicle of your choice at a price you can afford. Visit McDonald Ford in Freeland today. Remember, tariff-free and employee pricing for everyone.
Attention. Have you
This is a test of the emergency.
All right, we're back with you here on WSGW. My mind is someplace else today. I got to reel it in here. Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. As we talk about sports in our area, particularly pickleball, which is a growing sport. And with us from the Midland Tennis Center, we have Jeff Reckoway with us, and also from the Great Lakes CVB, Tim Shelton, who handles their sports promotion. And, I was just thinking about other things coming to this. There's a young man right now. When I say young, he's like 20 years old. He's intent on reopening the Tri-City Dragway
Yes.
to bring that sport back to the area. He's got a lot of obstacles to overcome, but he's pushing ahead, and he's got a pretty impressive board behind him.
He does. I've actually talked to that young man over a year ago and just gave him some direction on who to talk to. But there was a lot of
He successfully did.
Yes, he did. He did. Yeah.
And he's intent on doing it, and it's another feather in the region's cap. If we can get that going, it's
100%.
pretty amazing. So, how is the tennis center doing as an entity?
It's doing great. We're really growing. Like I said, both tennis and pickleball has been a huge help to our overall revenue and our business plan. We've got great tennis and pickleball pros that are growing those. Both of those, tennis and pickleball, both our membership and the utilization, which is important. As soon as we add a pickleball class, it fills up, and we do multiple levels. Like we call it Pickleball 101, which is an introductory, and then 102, and then we're working on the intermediate. So similar to what we do in tennis. We just
let me ask about tennis for a minute. I was a tennis player when I grew up. I played on my high school and college teams, and my dad wanted to buy me a good racket. I lived in New York City. We went down to a company downtown called Harry C. Lee. Why I know that name today, I don't know, but I still do. I ended up, they fit you. Now, this is in the 50s.
Yeah.
I had an Althea Gibson racket, like 11 ply. They were all wood back then.
Yeah.
Cat gut, a fitted grip to your hand, everything about it. I wouldn't recognize the rackets today, would I?
No, I mean the technology is incredible. Not only weight, but you mentioned the
I had to have a
grip.
press to keep it, from warping and all that stuff.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that anymore with the
Yes.
with the rackets. But yeah, the different manufacturers, the different, the strings. I mean, we've got a whole wall just on the different types of strings, and then the tension that you have for the way you hit the ball, similar to a golf club.
You're fitted.
You're definitely fitted, and then we can make adjustments to it, and we're able to do that right there in our pro shop. So we have the experts right on site.
Yet the amazing thing to me is the price of that Althea Gibson racket back in its day, in the 50s, it was probably around $100 or more.
Wow, yeah.
That's an expensive racket. And compared to the racket prices today, inflation hasn't had that much impact on it. I mean, for rackets today are more money, but relative to the dollar value of the 50s, that's not a bad increase.
No, you can certainly get into different levels of racket, but even the most expensive are less than $300.
Yeah, and that's, I'm going, wow, that's not bad, actually. So let's talk about pickleball equipment. What do you need to get started?
We recommend, you need a paddle, or like at the tennis center, you can actually rent a paddle from us, and we put that rental. It's only $5, and we put it towards you purchasing a paddle from us as well. So if you end up purchasing and you're not out anything, but you could try different paddles, like a demo program, if you will.
Paddles are different. They just look like solid paddles to me. I mean,
yeah, you even have the forgiveness paddle. Paddles that have power, paddles that have forgiveness. So we have all of the paddles we sell are quality paddles, but we have from the $50 range all the way up to a $300 paddle. So,
all right, what do I get for a $300 piece of wood?
Well,
is it wood?
No, it's a lot of it has like graphite. There's there's some
Expensive
really
stuff.
high tech
Carbon fiber,
Carbon
yeah.
fiber, yeah, exactly. The paddles are made out of, but yeah,
All right,
it's
so-
incredible.
So, just like golf clubs you mentioned, do I hit that pickleball any better with a $300 racket than I do a $50 racket?
Well, yeah, they will say that the different paddles will give you different feel, different effects. So, I think a beginner probably not going to tell the difference between a $50, but somebody that has the experience, similar to when you played tennis, they can tell the difference in
Oh,
the
yeah.
type of string that you use. And
Well, catgut was the king of the hill back then.
yeah.
So, the other question would be shoes. Tennis shoes, just standard tennis shoes.
Well, they're specializing in
Of
those now
course
too with
there are.
pickleball. Tennis shoe, the actual tennis shoe for tennis players is a little stiffer than what a pickleball shoe is, but you could wear it. I mean, it's not a problem. What we recommend against though is wearing a traditional running shoe that doesn't have the stability and has a little bit bigger cushion, and you're more apt to roll your ankle and things with a normal running shoe.
So, advice to the 65-plus-year-old new pickleball player: start slow.
Yeah, it is fun to watch. Again, the different age groups play, and as social as tennis is, pickleball is even more social. You're just that closer together,
Yeah.
and you're almost always playing doubles, whether it's mixed
Yeah.
or.
I say that amusingly, but a number of years ago at the Midland Tennis Center, I was there doing a remote, and whoever was there at the time, and I don't remember now, said, well, you used to play tennis. Let's go down and play a little bit, Now, back then, I think I was in my probably maybe early 70s, and my mind remembered how I used to serve the ball, and that was the key to my game back then. I could serve 100-mile-an-hour serve easily, and so I get down there on the court feeling pretty good and chipper. He gave me a racket to use, and I had my shoes on and stuff. And the first thing I wanted to do was toss that ball up and serve it. I took one swing and I went, oh! Oh, I forgot I'm not that old. My body quickly, it's the old story. Your mind tells you you're 40. Your body reminds you you're 82.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't take long.
No, so you do need to really be in condition. Pickleball is no different. I mean, you really should have some conditioning to play, shouldn't you?
Well, in the great stories, I just one of our members day before yesterday has struggled with weight. I mean, and doing something consistent, and pickleball has been that venue for him now, and it's the first time that he's really in a long time has gotten what he considers healthy. He's lost weight. He's passionate about this is his regular exercise, and you can be on the court for 2+ hours and it doesn't tear up your body really. I know there's the
For the most part.
yeah, for the most part it's not excuse me. And actually a funny story, or I think a neat story, Sophia Seawing played in the Dow Tennis Classic in 2023, and then last year Mike Rose, our director of pickleball, and myself went to New York to watch the APP tour event at Flushing Meadows, and here is Sophia Seawing right beside us visiting with the trainer. Well, she's had knee issues, so she now is a professional pickleball player and is actually number 2 in the world, and we're likely to see her at our APP event coming up in August.
I find that interesting because I would think the swings would be different. And I'll tell you why I say that. Coming out of the tennis world, when I moved here in '74, I was persuaded to join a racquetball club. And that totally, completely wiped out my tennis game. One's an arm game and one's a wrist game. It totally wiped out, And I would think pickleball would be more like racquetball than it is tennis.
It is. It is. It's very similar to racquetball as far as your arm swing. and and table tennis. I mean, there's that type of action and that type of swing, and the serve is underhanded in pickleball where you start out, which would be great for your shoulder, Art.
I'll have to remember that. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with our guests after these notes.
We're proud to make
All right, we're back with you in studio. Tim Shelton, he is the Director of Sports Marketing for Go Great Lakes Bay, the CVB. And from the Midland Tennis Center, Jeff Reckerick. And Jeff, the pickleball participation, all day long or just certain times?
No, there's times all day long that you could reserve a court and come in and play, but we do have set up times for different types of play.
And it's more doubles than singles, isn't it? Unlike tennis.
I've only seen a couple times where people are playing singles. There's certainly that market, and there are people that do that, but generally it's doubles. So you have 4 people on a court all the time.
Tim, let me ask you this. What does a tournament like the Dow Tennis Classic or the Dow Championship with the LPGA, the Memorial Cup with the Saginaw Spirit, the Loons, what does all that mean to the region?
Well, you alluded to earlier that the CVB world has changed. We do talk about heads and beds, but we really talk about the benefit to the residents. And what I mean by that is the benefits of tourism, whether it's sports, meetings, general, that drives direct spending impacts. So those visitors come in and spend their money, and that creates tax revenues, et cetera, et cetera. So our businesses, our tourism partners, restaurants, attractions, all benefit by tourism. And so these large events you mentioned, I think the spending impact on the Dow Championship is somewhere around $3 million direct spending impact. That's not total economic. And I would guess this APP event, first year, maybe 1,000 players, right, Jeff? Hopefully. And that's 1,000 players and families coming in, staying in our hotels, buying gasoline, buying snacks, et cetera, et cetera. And I would guess first year over $1 million direct spending impact for an event like that. And that's money into our local community coming from outside.
I tell people often, you talk about quality of life in an area. If we'll leave Isabel out for a minute and just look at Saginaw Bay, Midland County, roughly 400,000 people. Where can you find a city of 400,000 that has 2 symphony orchestras, multiple theater groups, multiple choral societies? You have a hockey team with the Canadian Hockey League. You have a high A baseball team with the Loons. You have a curling center. How many places have that,
Right.
And all of these things, and then you have the tennis center. We have all this quality sports stuff around here, and I just shake my head. You look at this region and you say how blessed we are.
It's incredible, and we're I came from another. I've lived in different places, so I think sometimes when you live a place, you think that's normal, and I can tell you from somebody that hasn't been here lifelong for 15 years, this isn't normal, and it is spectacular and incredible.
Yeah, we've been told we're abnormal.
And we talk about the large events, but I've had several opportunities to talk about sports in the region, and just the smaller club events, soccer tournaments, lacrosse.
Oh yeah,
tournaments,
I forgot soccer,
hockey, and these, and the MEDC put out a report at the end of 2023. Tourism in the Great Lakes Bay region created $901 million of direct spending impact, and almost 50% of that was due to sports, not just participatory sports, but spectator sports like Loons and Spirit. And
well, I had heard
it's a big industry.
I had heard the Memorial Cup was something like $30 to $35 million of impact in the area.
It was not only the direct spending impact from the visitors, but the investment prior to the Memorial Cup that was put into the legacy projects and upgrades to the Dow Event Center. All of that was close to $40 million total. But from the visitors alone, I think it was $17 million over that 10 days.
Yeah,
it's just wonderful.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
Take our last break, come back, and one more segment with our guests here on the Art Lewis Show. All right, back with you in studio as we talk to Jeff and Tim. Jeff from the Midland Tennis Center and Tim from the Go Great Lakes Bay CVB. So let's go back to this pickleball tournament that you may have coming to town. When you look at the purpose of it and what you want to see come out of it, what is it?
Well, it's exposure to the Great Lakes Bay and our region again, because it will be a nationally televised, and it's a national
televised.
Yes.
Oh, so we go a step further.
Oh yeah, it's a big production, and originally it was supposed to be in Los Angeles, so it was supposed to be the LA Open, August 13th to the 17th. That facility wasn't going to be done in time, and because of the investment of the CVB, because of the relationship we'd built with the APP and going over our facility, and we were thinking 2 years down the road, they reached back out to us and said, hey, here's a situation. I understand your courts are going to be done by the 1st of July. We feel you have a great place. You have the experience with all the other tournaments that we've done and our community is used to doing.
Could you imagine the feather in your cap? The APP is sitting there saying, oh, well, we can't do Los Angeles. Let's see, where else in the country can we go to get that kind of, let's go to Midland.
How about that? How about that?
I mean, just the thought, just the concept.
Yep.
Well, and we're challenging our pickleball players, because even though there's the pro, what's cool about these tournaments is is the pro division, so you get an opportunity to play alongside and watch the best of the best, but there's an opportunity, a great opportunity for the amateur, even the lowest level, like a 3-0, what we call 3-0. And those that play understand what that is. But not only level of play, but age levels within. So there's 254 different divisions that you can play in. Singles, doubles, mixed doubles, age group, and level. So there's literally something for everyone and a great opportunity. So we're challenging our pickleball community in the region to make this the biggest and best rookie tour event that the APP has seen. And that's a big challenge. So we're hoping to get over 1,000 players registered for this.
This area has experience in that, though, Tim, doesn't it?
Yes,
Right.
100%.
You know, 6 tournaments ago, the Dow Championship shows up, becomes the tour of the year, first time out of the box.
Yeah.
Memorial Cup shows up, and we win. First time out of the box. We have a habit of doing that, don't we?
Well, in the Dow Tennis Classic this past year was ranked number 3 in the world by the players, right behind China, Beijing, and number 1 in the Americas, both North and South America. We were voted number 1 tournament on the WTA 125 tour. So we're excited about and happy to to challenge the people that we're going to make this a really special event.
So let's talk about the Tennis Center memberships and what's available there to the public.
Yeah, so, and this is our 50th anniversary of the Tennis Center, and Paul Orifice, past CEO of Dow, and unfortunately just passed away in the last year, wanted this to be a part of the community.